Tamotin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. Coming up, over 7 communities within the Foriko municipality gather at their MP's residence as they demonstrate over their bad roads.
The deteriorating state of this crucial road has become a pressing concern for the residents.
Also coming up, despite concerns on the reopening date for first-year senior high school students, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools in the Ashanti region expresses satisfaction with the resumption date as prior notice was given.
We also made some inputs. Some were taken, some they told us that in due course they will make those changes. So I can confidently say that we were engaged and we were satisfied with whatever date that we discussed and we agreed on.
Still ahead, residents of the Gwan district in the Oti region raised concern about the short notice to apply for the December 19 local government elections.
Just Monday, notice came that we should go in for forms and then file by Thursday and Friday, 7th and 8th, which is too short a time for us to do the filing.
And later, NPP in Ayawaso West Wogon denies accusations of sabotaging John Jomelo's community development efforts.
You know, John, he's always the drama because he's from the movie industry. Who will stop you when you are fixing a street light? It's a development for the area, and nobody can stop him.
This news is also live on all our partner stations across the country. In the Western region, we are on Premier 100.5 FM, Takrady Sky Power 93.5 FM, and Beach 105.5 FM. Also in Takrady Bono region, Greener FM 95.9 and Hamas Radio 106.5 FM in Goso. Ashanti region, Alpha Radio 104.9 in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi in the Volta region. Global 105.1 FM in Ho, Adanu 107.7 FM in Ndakluwaya. Northern region, Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale, Upper West, Westlink 88.1 in Laura, Source 100.1 FM in Boko in the Upper East region, and in the Northeast region, we're on Scarp 101.3 FM in Nangpanduri. Across the globe, we're on citynewsroom.com.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for your time this afternoon. Now, scores of inhabitants within Buedi, Emena, Kote, Didiakon, and other surrounding communities in the Oforikro municipality poured onto the streets to demonstrate over the poor road network within the enclave. The frustrated residents lament the terrible nature of their roads has made commuting a daunting task. The protesters, in showing their disappointment with authorities over their failure to fulfill their promises, converged on the Member of Parliament's residence as they accused him of not doing enough to help address their concerns. Here is the convener for the demonstration, Jerry James Suka, addressing the MCE for Forikrom, Abraham Kwame Entry, and the Member of Parliament, Emmanuel Mafo.
I'm saying this on behalf of the concerned residents of Apimso, Amina, Apiedu, and Kokoben to bring to your attention the deplorable state of the road network in our communities. The deteriorating state of this crucial road has become a pressing concern for the residents, impacting our daily lives, economic activities, and overall well-being. Choboy, yeah. Choboy. Yeah. The poor road conditions create inconvenience for commuters and pose safety hazards for both motorists and pedestrians. Choboy. Yeah. Economic implications. The road's deteriorated state hinders economic activities, affecting local businesses, transportation of goods, and overall development of the community. The road's condition hampers access to essential services such as healthcare, education, and emergency services. Community development. A well-maintained road is essential for the overall development of our community, enhancing connectivity and encouraging economic growth.
So you heard there the convener for a demonstration that took place today, and his name is Jerry James Suka, and he was the convener for a demonstration that happened within the Oforiko municipality. Edward Opoma, who is a bureau chief for the Middle Belt, joins us on the line. Edward, you've been covering a number of protests and demonstrations with regards to the bad nature of roads in areas in the Ashanti region. What stood out for you with this particular one?
So with this case, primarily the protesters were moving peacefully, and the fact that there were a number of police officers who were around to ensure that no one goes overboard. And the kind of collaboration between the protesters and the police too was quite interesting because they appeared to be on the same level. And so they were collaborating as to the routes to use and all that. And basically, they're trying to use the various routes that are in very bad shape. And so these were the... And then the fact that they briefly converged in front of the Member of Parliament for the area's residents, that's Dr. Emmanuel Malfo. They converged in front of the residents and they were basically painting a picture of how even the road linking to the Member of Parliament's residence is in a terrible shape. And while residents keep complaining about it, they're saying that so far they have not seen any kind of efforts from the Member of Parliament to impress on relevant stakeholders to address those key concerns. They are saying so far they don't know of any engagement that he has had with the Minister of Roads and Highways. And also, even with the various stakeholders, the Finance Minister and others, they do not know what has been done. There's nothing on record to show that he is putting in a lot of effort to ensure that their concerns are addressed. And so that's the main issue that they have been raising. Sorry.
We had excerpts of the petition that was read at the MP's house, and I believe the MCE was also there. What was their response after this petition was read?
Also, with this petition, the police and the other persons who were with the protesters then decided that, well, the petition should not be read right in front of the MP's residence. So it was later read as a Kote Pass, an area where the Member of Parliament was not around, although it was addressed to the Member of Parliament and the municipality executive. They were not around to receive it, but basically these protesters are saying after having this engagement with the media, they're also going to ensure that these persons who have been mentioned, the municipal chief executive and the Member of Parliament, ensure that they receive a copy of it. In fact, I even spoke with the municipal chief executive, and as at the time, he had not received that, and he is saying that, well, they are making some efforts, and so in due time, he will even highlight some efforts that are being made in relation to addressing their road concerns.
Finally, before you leave, the areas that have been mentioned cover a very wide area. What is the nature of the roads in these areas as we speak currently?
So this morning, we actually took time to visit various areas being mentioned. And so for those who know Kumasi very well, right from the main Kumasi-Accra highway, on the branch using Bwedi Junction, using that stretch from Bwedi Junction towards Bwedi itself, from Bwedi, in between Bwedi and Amina, that is where the poor road actually starts. And so you will get to know that between that side, the road is in a terrible shape. So Bwedi to Amina is not in good shape at all. Commuters keep complaining about the fact that they have to wait in traffic for a very long time. And from that side, from Amina to Apiedu to is in a very bad shape. And there are portions where there are huge potholes on those areas and on the road. And you also find out that the dusty nature around this time is quite unbearable for those who engage in businesses. I also even engage other people who are private vehicle users, commercial vehicle users, and they complain about one main thing, that their vehicles keep breaking down, and that's the common phenomenon that keeps going on. And even in case there are emergencies, commuting from your end to whether the hospital or even letting the fire service officials, other people coming in, is a big issue. So from Apiedu to Dunina, that side too is not in a good shape at all. And we actually use that stretch, getting to Apiedu and Dunina too, that's also in a very bad shape. Then from that side, there's also another route, that's the Kokobeng area, from Apiedu to Kokobeng. That appears to even be the worst of all the cases. And some of the residents in those areas that are engaged and made a point that they have always been talking to the authorities who come to the area to ensure that these concerns are addressed. Because once it rains, it's just unmotorable. And this time around, in this season, the dust is just unbearable when we're using it. And they are just not potholes that can be likened to gullies just in front of in the middle of the road, how people are trying to use it. And so there are some commercial vehicle drivers who have decided not to use it at certain points. And so people who try to use commercial vehicles complain about the fact that getting vehicles, especially in the evenings, it's a big issue for them. And so if you move away from that side and you get to Apiedu towards the Kote area, Apemso, and the Diakon areas, all those areas too are not in good shape at all. And so they are all singing the same chorus. And these areas, for those who know these areas, they are just interconnected, and it looks like all the roads there are not in good shape.
All right, thank you very much. That was a bureau chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opong Mafo.
Let's stay on road, Zoe, in the Ashanti region. Former Member of Parliament for Manson Kwanta, Joseph Albert Kwam, has lamented the poor state of roads in communities within the constituency after contractors abandoned roadworks. Motorists within the Manso enclaves have for years complained about the poor state of roads, often blamed for road crashes and, in some instances, robbery attacks. The former Manson Kwanta MP appealed to the government to intervene for contractors to resume work to complete the road projects in the area.
I'm targeting roughly about 60 kilometers to do the reshaping for the people of Manson Kwanta constituency. You will recall that some time ago I was a member of parliament here, and I lobbied for almost 10 of the routes, total about 110 kilometers, to be given to contract. As at the time that I was leaving office as a member of parliament, 10 routes have been awarded to contracts. But the reality is that even when I left, they were on the road working. But at some point, they all deserted. They have abandoned the routes. People have been complaining here and there. I don't want certain to happen. At some point, I asked myself, can I come to the route and do possibly maybe reshaping? I asked so many questions because roads that are under contract, it becomes difficult for you to go to the route. But for almost 4 years, without anything, I felt that the best thing to do is to do the reshaping for the people of Manson Kwanta.
That was former Member of Parliament for Manson Kwanta, Joseph Albert Kwam.
Let's turn our attention to some other stories now. The expected meeting between government and the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, did not come on today because government has made payments to the independent power producer Sonon Asogli. Earlier this week, Sonon Asogli Power Limited threatened to shut down its plant if government fails to make payments. We have the Managing Director of ECG, Samuel Dublik Mahama, join us live to give us details of this developing story. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. How much has been paid to Sonon Asogli and when was the payment made?
Sonon Asogli has received 30 million Ghana cedis from the government of Ghana, and $30 million from the government of Ghana, and the conversations are far advanced for a second tranche of another $30 million to be paid to them. As it stands now, Asogli has always been an integral part of our growth. They are one of the first IPPs, and they've always treated Ghana fairly when it comes to how they have structured their PPA. So they are a very good growth partner that we intend to grow with. So we've even come up with a new way to renegotiate our standing PPA to make it much more efficient and much more cheaper for the good people of Ghana.
When was this payment made, sir?
They received it somewhere yesterday, so they have the money now.
Earlier in an interview this week, you expressed disappointment with the communique coming out into the media and not getting to you directly. Have you resolved those issues with Sonon Asogli?
They were magnanimous enough to send me an apology, and we've moved on from that.
All right. So what measures are you putting in place to ensure that such threats, such as the one from Sanon Asogli, does not occur again, because it appears the ECG owes the IPPs a lot?
With everything, it's all about communication and conversations. We've had a long-standing and conversation with them. We've come up with new structures. We've come up with new payment schedules, and I think everybody's now comfortable. To be very honest, the conversations Nana Sogli had, which caused them to come up with what they did, has nothing to do with their current payments, but mostly to do with their legacy payments, which is the old debt, the old outstanding debt. So we've come a long way from that, and we are moving forward. So we are very fine.
The $30 million should have been paid earlier. Now you have an outstanding $30 million. When are you expecting to pay this?
It's supposed to be covered somewhere next week. So the conversations are far advanced for them to receive it next week.
Okay, so that's with Sanon Asogli. What about the general independent power producers? How far with your discussions with them?
We've had a very good conversation with them. In truth, most of them have done very well to renegotiate the commercial portions of their PPA with the government of Ghana. And after all is said and done, we will now come out with a full report of how we've now moved from 100% take or pay to almost 60 to 65% take or pay, and the rest being take and pay. So we will come out with a full report on that. And moving forward, I can say on authority that moving forward, all of them receive what we have agreed on and understanding from the negotiations we've had.
Finally, before you leave, sir, the ECG began a revenue mobilization exercise to get some money from customers who owed, or entities who owed ECG. What is your assessment of this drive so far, and is it yielding any positive results?
It's yielding great results. We actually have to take this opportunity to thank the good people of Ghana for assisting us and always being compliant. In all of this, we still also met some customers who have not also been helpful, and we've had issues. But in truth, the ECG is going through a very good turnaround, and this is a very huge success for ECG. With what is going on now, at the right time when we put out the release, you realize now that ECG has come a long way in terms of revenue, and ECG is doing well in terms of paying the IPPs what has been negotiated with all of them moving forward.
Thank you so much. Please
the
go
revenue
ahead.
exercise is going very well, and we are still on it with the fix the bill. They have come to our notice that most people who use the postpaid meters have a problem with overbilling. I will entreat everybody to try and come to our offices or use the app to get the correct meter reading for us to do an adjustment on the bills for all of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Grateful for your time, sir. That was Samuel Dublik Mahama, who is the Managing Director of the Electricity Company of Ghana.
Now, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, in the Ashanti region says it is satisfied with the arrangements of making first-year students to report to school on December 4 as they were engaged ahead of time on the date. The announcement of the reopening date received mixed reactions from various stakeholders, while there was strong opposition to the date because of the short period between reopening and the Christmas break. The Education Ministry and the Ghana Education Service insisted on the December 4 reopening date. As many people still continue to raise concerns, Charles says it is comfortable with the arrangement.
I believe that we work with time. It's a semester-based schooling system in this country, and I believe that if we don't start at this time, it will be difficult for the GES to fulfill their, the yearly mandate. And as we are aware, currently the GES would want to revert to the original September reopening. So if they should shift this to January, it will be very difficult for them to get that thing done, I think, by 2025 or so, that they want to revert to the September reopening date. So I think all in all, it's good that they have come. Most of the students are in school. Some are also preparing to come. So as and when they come, we will do our best to teach them. And I believe that, yes, as teachers, they must be able to rest and then refresh their minds for the next task ahead. We share their sentiments. And we equally, as school managers, also don't have rest. We have been in school for years, and then we don't have any rest. So all in all, if we are to put them together with the government decision to revert to the September reopening date for fresh academic year, and the students also teachers suffering a bit, so that we get back to those periods, I think we have to accept it in good faith.
Zakaria Suleiman Yeboah, however, wants government to ensure adequate supply of food for students.
So far, all schools are set. We are feeding the students who have come so far, and with logistics, they have just come. And all other items that they are supposed to get will be given to them in due course. As and when they are brought to us, we will also give it to them. But all in all, I can say that all schools are ready and they are preparing food for the students without any cause of alarm. We've been giving food items as a region. Like I said, I'm speaking for Ashanti. We've been giving food items. We have something to give the students. And once they are here, we will thank the government for preparing adequately to meet the Form 1s who are now in school. And then what we can also, say is that once they've started, we will plead with the GS management to make monies available so that we don't get stuck somewhere. And I believe that only yesterday we had a Zoom meeting with the Director General, Dr. Nkansa, who assured us that in due course, very soon, monies will be made available.
You heard Zakaria Suleiman Yeboah, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools.
This is still Citi Prime News. Still to come, residents of the Gwan District in Yoti region raised concern about the short notice to apply for the December 19 local government elections. We'll bring you the details shortly. Do stay.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV?
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
About to a brandy, gonna cut to a banny pew. Easy about to a brandy, young con cut to a banny pew. Oh, your mamba, sorry, cut to a banny pew. Easy won't say, gonna cut to a banny pew. Everyone so say, I cut to a ban, but my battle. Assembly many unit committee members to a ban way. I ain't young to you, to a ban. December 19th, please prepare yourself to go out there and cast your vote. Oh, Mama, Papa, 19th December, Fellow on so cup me your brain. About 200, no, a bump for a war. Young Peppa Sambasa, young voters ID card, put to your coffee. A bomb no my wapa. I can camera no, so your mamba, cut to a ban with you. I'm about to a many, gonna cut to a ban with you. Easy about to a many, I'm gonna cut to a ban with you. We your mamba, sorry, cut to a ban with you. Easy one guy say, gonna cut to a ban with you.
District Assembly elections, please go and cast your vote.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for staying with us. Now, private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu says the National Investigations Bureau, NIB, is perpetrating an illegality in the alleged arrest and detainment of the spokesperson of the new force, Ms. Shalima Abusi. The group in a statement indicated that Ms. Abusi was summoned on Monday, December 4 for a discussion about persons behind the new force and has since not been released. Speaking to Citi News, Martin Kpebu accused the NIB of breaching Article 14.3 of the 1992 Constitution, which says a person cannot be detained for 48 hours without formal charges.
Don't just arrogate all the power to yourself. NIB should modernize. In 2023, they are still doing this rough taxes, communist inferior taxes. If the person is a national security threat, if you have evidence, you put it before a judge to use any reason, whether national stress or whatever, detain the person beyond 48 hours. No. And let me show you too. Even further show that 48 hours is not negotiable. What the Supreme Court said in the table number 4 verse Kennedy number 4 is that even when the courts are locked, let's say now that the work is being held, if such judicial service workers were on strike and so they've locked up the court, that would then mean that you go to the Chief Justice, then they'll give you a judge. So the judge is home. Then you go and meet the judge in the house. Of course, thankfully, we won't have many of these happening. But the point I'm making that is to tell you that it's not negotiable.
Martin Kpebu is a private legal practitioner.
Now, the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs says the promise by the Speaker of Parliament that the bill on proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values will be passed by the House before recess is fueled by public pressure. Speaker Alban Bagwin yesterday assured of the passage of the anti-LGBTQ+ bill before Parliament goes on break for Christmas. However, concerns have been raised about the Speaker's biased position on the controversial bill. In an interview with Citi News, the Executive Director of ASEPA, Dr. Rashid Rahman, says the Speaker's position is influenced by public opinion.
He's part of the discussion on what comes before the House, because usually there's a pre-sitting kind of meeting with the leaders, and then there's business committee deliberations and all those things. Maybe he knows something that maybe you and I don't know. And also, if he's part of this, perhaps if the leaders are not saying it, he might come out and say, okay, we are passing this bill before. But I believe that is informed by the deliberations at the level of his interactions with the leaders, and then also at the level of the business committee. But we have to be clear. I mean, he doesn't have any role in terms of the discussions on the bill.
Specifically with the bill on LGBTQ+ activities, the Speaker says that the bill will be passed before Parliament goes on recess this festive season. He's supposed to be the referee. And isn't that a biased position for the Speaker to take?
Well, this LGBTQ bill is one that evokes a lot of emotions and has divided our country into, so many parts. There's pressure on members of Parliament. There's on both sides, those who support, those who don't support. There's pressure on the institution and so on. So maybe when he says, make this comment, we have to understand it from that context.
Dr. Rashid Rahman is the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs.
The flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, says the next NDC government will wage a strong war against corruption to save the state from undue exploitation. He blames the current woes of the country on the corruption-related cases, which he says has characterized the ruling government. Speaking at the 9th Ghana CEO Network Business Cocktail, Mr. Mahama further added that if given the nod, his government will review the existing laws governing the extractive sector to ensure Ghanaians are not shortchanged.
We would wage a strong fight against corruption to reduce waste and save money for investments in the economy. And the sword of the fight against corruption will cut both ways, against past government officials of the incumbent administration, against civil and public servants, businesses, and government suppliers if they fall foul of the law. We will review our laws governing the extractive industry so that Ghana can increase its share and increase local participation in the exploitation of our natural resources. I believe that with the improved revenue from savings made from the reduced size of government the anti-corruption fight, fast-track operationalization of new oil and gas wells, licensed investments in the mining sector, and a revamped cocoa sector, we can ease the heavy burden of tax that has been placed on Ghanaian households and businesses.
He further questioned government for defaulting on its debts as he says the inaction has threatened the image of the country among its external creditors.
And as I speak, the second tranche of the IMF's extended credit facility, which was due on 1st November, has still not been received because of a delay by external creditors to sign off on our debt restructuring program. Of course, the consequence of our debt default has also started manifesting. For the first time in 30 years, Ghana struggled to put together a cocoa syndication loan, which had almost become a routine activity on our financial calendar. Major infrastructural projects have ground to a halt because lenders have cut funding as a direct fallout from our debt default. Independent power producers continue to threaten power cuts due to mounting debts that affect their operations. One of the producers threatened a few days ago to take out 560 megawatts of power before a promise to pay was made. Ghanaians face grave uncertainty if more of these independent power producers follow suit.
That was the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama.
Now, the National Labour Commission is urging the Senior Staff Association and the Teachers and Educational Workers Union of the University of Ghana to suspend their intended strike. The associations have threatened to lay down their tools if management fails to pay the arrears of interim market premium from 2010 to 2018 to some staff by December 13. Speaking to Citi News, Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, Ofosu Asamoah, says his outfit has also informed the employer, which is government, to fulfill its part of the agreement to avert any industrial action.
Yeah, when we received their petition, we have accordingly written to their employers and government in respect of their demands. Apparently, some of it has been paid, and like you said, some are outstanding. And so, how the steps they have to take to avert the occurrence of the industrial action, and that they appear before the commission to give us a briefing on the 13th, which is a Wednesday. But in the meantime, the TU and senior staff are advised against taking any form of industrial action. The government will take steps, yes, and the only issue is the outstanding, so that is what we have advised. That's why we have advised them that since we are now seized with the matter and it is being dealt with, they should just exercise a bit of patience. We know they have exercised enough over the years, but we still have to do some more. Just a little patience. We are appealing to them to exercise a little patience whilst we handle the matter.
That was Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, Ofosu Asamoah.
The Vehicle Importers Association of Ghana has expressed disappointment over the passage of the 2024 budget following their pleas for a reduction in the taxes on the importation of vehicles. The group earlier petitioned the government to reduce taxes and clearance fees on foreign vehicles. In an interview with Citi News, the General Secretary of the association, Clifford Ansu, expressed his dissatisfaction and stated that their hands are tied as the taxes will increase the prices of vehicles and adversely affect their businesses.
What we are going to do is that the prices of cars are going to go up, but there's nothing that we can also do. When you pay high duty at the harbor, you need also to put it on for a customer who is coming to buy. And this is not going to be very friendly with those of us in the business and those who are also coming to buy the cars. When we are selling, the person who is also coming to buy, you must also look at least, consider him in a way. But if all the time you are doing the things for your advantage without thinking about the buyer also, then it becomes a problem. But the situation also does not permit us to consider the buyer, because the huge money has already been taken from us at the harbor. That is the issue that we have now. The waiver that government said that they are going to give to importation of electric vehicles, fine. To some of us, this is not the time. But we don't know where government got this idea from. Perhaps because of the climate change situation that is being speculated these days.
That was the General Secretary of the Vehicle Importers Association, Clifford Ansu.
Now, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, has supported the decision by government to suspend the import restriction legislative instrument. The proposed legislative instrument sought to compel importers of 22 restricted items, including poultry, rice, sugar, diapers, and offal, to seek licenses from a committee to be set up by the Minister of Trade and Industry. In an interview with Citi News, the executive chairman of FABAC, John Awuni, said government ought to invest in local industries.
It's good news that the government has withdrawn or suspended it because we clearly stated in our arguments that the country lacks the current capacity. And the object of the LI was to to boost local production or protect local industry and then balance of payments and then all that. But before you do that, technically, the government must have prepared itself a couple of years back. So that you can't come out with an LI at the time that you are battling with serious food inflation, you are battling with serious high prices of goods and services, at the time that even your local industries that are, even most of them that are manufacturing, are still importing concentrates, and they are basically packaging those things here. We need to go back to the table, set up good production systems, make sure that we have good linkages in the production chain, and then we can be able to come out a couple of years down the line that we can restrict imports 20%, 30%, 40%, or 50%.
John Awuni is the executive chairman of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana.
Meanwhile, the Minority Caucus in Parliament has assured Ghanaians of consistent efforts to resist any policy which will bring hardship to the business community. The minority argues that vesting too much power in the Trades Minister to determine who qualifies or not to be granted a permit to import into the country may breed corruption. The minority, in a statement, also emphatically states that it is not against any legal regime or policy that seeks to protect indigenous businesses by regulating imports, but rather against a law that confers power on a single individual to issue import licenses. This is still Citi Prime News. My name is Zoe Abube-Eduardo, and I'm here with
Charles Owosukumi.
Still to come in this bulletin, NPP in Ayawaso West Wuogon denies accusations of sabotaging John Dumelo's community development efforts. We'll bring you the details shortly.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
National Health Insurance.
Great news! The National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, has waived the waiting period for all members aged 70 years and above. All 70 years and above are also exempted from paying a premium. Enrollment and renewal are absolutely free on the NHIS. Members who are 70 years and above can automatically access healthcare when they newly register with the NHIS or renew their membership annually. You are no longer required to serve the 1-month waiting period for late renewals. Dad, mom, grandpa, and grandma, let your old age be filled with good health and access instant healthcare at zero cost on the NHIS today. Download the My NHIS mobile app to register with your Ghana card or visit the nearest NHIS office. Terms and conditions apply. For details, contact the NHIS call center on 054-444-6447 or 0302-746-447. NHIS, your access to quality healthcare. This message is brought to you by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally.
Hi, my name is Stephen Appiah, the team coordinator of the Black Stars. I always like to keep hydrated naturally, every day, any day. S Natural Mineral Water does the trick.
Manufactured through a double purification process to produce pure, natural drinking water. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural. For bulk purchase, call 0596 273-546 or 0596-273-547. This advert is FDA approved.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You will come back. Now, the General Secretary of the National Service Personnel Association, Nana Edu Jemfi, says government has initiated payments of arrears owed personnel who completed their service this year. This confirmation aligns with the earlier announcement made by management of the scheme that all arrears will be settled by end of today.
Actually, the payments reflected yesterday evening, somewhere around 10-11. So this morning, I think myself, I've had about close to 50 people confirming that the arrears, which span from January to May, has been paid. That is a total sum of 786. Well, I think just like myself, just like everyone else, I think this was very timely. Because we are done with our service, so we were looking forward to this payment. And did I say we have been rescued? But then yes, this is a promise that management has and the government has really gone on with, because on our appointment letter we were to be paid 559, but then along the line there was an increment, an upward adjustment from the 559 to 715, and government and the scheme has honored their word to pay. So we are very grateful that in as much as we don't really deserve it, let me put it like that, but that was not what we started with, but then they've still gone with their word.
That was the General Secretary of the National Service Personnel Association, Nana Edu Jemfi.
To some politics now, the NPP in Ayawaso West Borgon has described as dramatic claims by NDC's John Dumelo that he is being sabotaged. The NDC parliamentary candidate for the 2024 election in a media engagement accused the Member of Parliament for the constituency, Lydia Sarah Malasan, of deliberately stifling his efforts at contributing to the development of the constituency. According to him, plans to dredge some drains in the constituency were thwarted by the MP, and street lights donated to be fixed on some routes in Legon have not been utilized. Reacting to this, the party's chairman in the constituency, Alhaji Osman Idrisu, noted that there is no truth in the comments by John Dumelo.
No, we are not sabotaging anybody. You know, it's a competition. And as I told you, we are here and forced to win. And we are always working. We've never even relent. But they are always comfortable lead, so they don't do anything. They are waiting for time to come up to Kufesa, but we don't wait.
Because he's saying that he and his party has donated items like street lights, for the purpose of use for the constituency, but they are not being used, and things that he wants to do like dredging, he's been stopped either by the MP or by the assembly.
You know, John, he's always a drama because he's from a movie industry. Who will stop you when you are fixing a street light? It's a development for the area, and nobody can stop him. If dredging, go and enter there and do your dredging. Who will stop you? No one can stop you. You are all part of development. You know, this guy is somebody who always feel like he needs to put something out there for you to see his sympathy. But I can show you that all his gimmicks, and I can show you whatever he comes in with, we shall show him down.
So all he's saying is just his nature from being from
Absolutely.
the movie industry.
All the time, he's always tried to be a drama. And so for you to know that, you know, when you're from industry, it influences your behavior and your politics.
Alhaji Osman Idrisu is the Ayawaso West Borgon NPP constituency chairman.
Residents of the Gwan district in the Oti region have raised concern about the short notice given them to pick forms and apply for the December 19 local government elections. The community was informed on Monday to pick nomination forms, secure up to 20 signatures, and submit the forms by today, December 8. This, the community says, does not allow for proper community engagement ahead of the polls. There is more in the following report by City News' Benjamin Aklama.
I am reporting from Santrokofi, one of the 4 communities that make up the Sal Enclave, which came into the news following the creation of the Oti region. The Sal area was initially part of the Buem district, later ceded to be part of the Hokwa municipality until the creation of the Oti region. These 4 communities, now named the Gwan district, lost their ties to the Hokwa municipality during the creation of the Oti region. This situation left the Gwan district without representation in parliament and also without a local government structure until 2020. With the 2024 local government election in the offing, the community has yet another concern. Godwin Senyegbe-Ansa and Philip Adom are assembly member aspirants in the community.
As for challenges, there are a few, which I may say, one being the short time notice they gave us. Just Monday notice came that we should go in for forms and then file by today, Thursday, and Friday, 7th and 8th, which is too short a time for us to do the filing. And so that's one of the challenges. Apart from that, because they didn't give us enough notice, we didn't prepare to campaign and the campaigning, and so we couldn't inform our support base that this is what we want to do. So that is a challenge.
The fact that the Electoral Commission has also not been fair to us, let me put it that way, because one moment you tell us we will not be picking forms, we will not be filing with our other colleagues, and then whilst we've been waiting, they've not engaged us to tell us or even have a roadmap as to when. During this time too, if you're going to be hitting the road to campaign, of course you need money, you need resources. So how long are we going to be doing the campaign? Because we don't know when the elections will come. The next minute, we see in the papers that they said we should pick forms. That's 2 days today, and then we are supposed to file today and tomorrow. It's been very, very difficult.
Some of the residents say there is little awareness of the local government elections in the area, but they are willing to participate nonetheless.
We heard of it, they've come and announced it, but it was 3 days before one Mr. Luchu from Bume, who is the head teacher over there, came and then leave a message to me that I should inform, or I should tell the assemblyman that he should beat Gong Gong, that the forms will be ready Wednesday, and then so they should come and pick the forms and then fill them. So Friday will be the closing date, so that you cut them to Lipe.
Today is Thursday, so 3 days ago must be Tuesday or Monday.
Might be Tuesday.
So you heard the information on Tuesday.
So the government also they asked the town crier to announce.
Okay. But are you ready for the elections? Do you know when the election itself is?
No, the election, we don't know. I don't know the date.
You don't know the date for the election? But will you go and vote?
Oh, if only there is this thing, why not? We'll vote, because we all live in the community, in that we also help for the government to affect this thing. Without voting, that means our community will not have assemblyman or youth committee member that we can't have anything.
Meanwhile, the returning officer for Central Kofi Bodome Bume, Gideon Lochu, told Citi News the process has been smooth and those who are determined to get elected will succeed.
Yeah, so far, so good at my electoral area. From my records, I have 8 people who have so far picked for the unit committee level. And I have one who has already filed for assembly election. So that's what I can talk on for now.
Okay.
Reporting for Citi News, my name is Benjamin Aklama from Central Kofi in the Ote region.
Let's now do this interesting story from Parliament, Zoe. The Speaker has proposed to lock up entries to the chamber at 10 a.m. on each sitting day beginning next year as part of measures to ensure early attendance by lawmakers. The Speaker says either the MPs comply with the new directive or resort to the alternative of the House commencing business at 2 p.m. from the next meeting of Parliament. The Speaker was addressing members of Parliament today.
For the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic, at 10 a.m., which you say 10 in the phone, the doors will be locked. The Speaker will be in. Yes. And it will take some time before the doors are opened. Not that it will be opened, but it will take some time. If we are not able to comply with it, then please, let's all agree that we will always start sitting in the afternoon, from 2 or 4. The committees will have the meetings in the morning. Reports will be ready for us to consider in the afternoon. And then, by the time we adjourn either 8 p.m., the traffic situation must be improved. Your coming to Parliament too will not be that early unless you have a committee sitting. And so you can decide to leave 12. By that time, there's less traffic. You don't consume more fuel. And then you can come in. These are proposals I made earlier on, which were rejected.
That was the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagwin.
Interesting comments by the Speaker there. Now, the advent of artificial intelligence tools, AI tools, has sparked diverse reactions from celebration of technological leaps to concerns about transformative potential and employment impact. Citi News' Christopher Kevin Asima delves into the evolving landscape of AI tools in Ghana in this report read by Adjoatin Kramadomina.
As we stand on the brink of a fourth industrial revolution fueled by human ingenuity, the rise of artificial intelligence, AI, promises to redefine the job landscape. AI fundamentally involves transferring human-created knowledge or skills to machines, enabling them to effortlessly handle tasks that often challenge human capabilities. Encounters with AI tools have become ubiquitous in our daily lives, from using Google Maps and navigating social media platforms like Facebook, Google, Snapchat to interacting with Apple devices. Notably, the latest addition to the AI toolkit is ChatGPT, an AI chatbot proficient in natural language generation, translation, and answering queries, showcasing the expansive capabilities of this technology. Users of AI tools share their experiences with Citi News, shedding light on the practical applications and benefits of these innovations.
Back then, to be able to detect cancer cells, it takes a very long time, and people have to actually look at X-rays, CT scans, and all not meticulously to detect these cancer cells. But now with AI, even the smallest change in the X-ray, and AI can detect that this is probably a cancer which is going to be developed. So with such a tool, we're actually going to help save humanity to an extent.
Artificial intelligence, AI, I haven't used it personally, but I hear everything has its advantages and disadvantages. So on the internet, on social media, I hear people say it helps them write essays, help them write a lot of things, even relationship-wise. So I feel like everything has its own, but I haven't personally used it.
I've heard about ChatGPT, and that's what I've been using most of them. For now, that's what I've been using to solve my assignments and then do a whole lot of research. And then I'm even planning of it can also help you do your project work and a whole lot of stuff.
A member of the Committee on Communications in Parliament, Samuel Nate George, underscores the substantial advantages AI technologies offer. However, he emphasizes the necessity for regulations to align AI use with appropriate objectives.
Artificial intelligence needs to be regulated. One of the front runners in the AI space in the US, who created the ChatGPT board, actually wrote to the US Congress and stated that the machine learning has gone beyond their thinking and that the US government, the Department of Defense, should take over managing the ChatGPT platform. I'm all for engagements with stakeholders. When government or the executive is going to put in place regulations, be they LIs or substantive legislation, what we need to have is engagement with stakeholders. Stakeholders including Parliament, stakeholders including civil society, stakeholders including the technical community. And so we need to have those engagements, definitely. But the role of regulations and legislation has to be done by the executive.
But the National Information Technology Agency asserts that robust systems are in place to guide and regulate the AI landscape, ensuring responsible and ethical utilization.
The government of Ghana has decided to come up with a national policy, national strategy for AI. And NITA, under the direction of Ministry of Communication and Digitalization, together with Data Protection Commission, is collaborating with, I think, Smart Africa and and I think GIZ to come up with a national strategy for AI. I think right now we have the initial draft We are doing a number of stakeholder engagement, and once that stakeholder engagement is concluded, we just get to adopt this as our national strategy, and the national strategy will give us the direction so far on how to adopt and use AI at the national level in all aspects of the economy.
Despite these assurances, industry players express concerns about an unregulated AI future, advocating for the establishment of an artificial intelligence council in Ghana.
Usually when you look at innovation, you don't put regulators in front of innovations or innovators. If you do that, you stifle innovation. So most of the development of innovation, regulators need to catch up with the innovators because the speed at which they are moving is really fast, and regulators don't move fast enough.
The math or the fundamentals of AI is math. And looking at how math is taught at the lower level and in SS, we should try and tackle that so to improve the mathematical theory over there. Once that is good, we'll be able to then churn out good AI engineers because math is the fundamental of AI. So if you can tackle, if GES or another organization can tackle the math at the lower level, which will be built upon in university, then that is going to help us move towards the new AI revolution.
Right now, you have schools, private schools, the international schools that offer robotics as extracurricular classes for their children. But the question is in the government schools. We are unable to even have labs for regular ICT. We still have schools in Ghana where the keyboard is drawn on a blackboard to show the kids they don't see a real keyboard. They've never touched a real mouse. And you're talking coding, you're talking teaching them script writing. Ultimately, they need computers. They need the devices to be able to do all of this. And it's extremely important that as a country, we begin to look at this from the basic level.
Ghana, a pioneer in telecommunications and internet connectivity in sub-Saharan Africa, faces the challenge of navigating the AI terrain in a fourth industrial revolution. As the nation stands on the brink of this transformative era, the question arises, can Ghana harness the potential of AI without stifling innovation?
Whether we like it or not, things will change very rapidly, even in our underdevelopment. And all these machines are going to come in. You don't want somebody being flown from India or from Korea or from Germany or from some other country to operate or program or do these things when your kids can do that. Why should they be at the short end of the stick? Why can't they be the high-earning people? If you do not know that robotics or AI or any of those science things is how the world is being driven today, and the very wealthy people now in the world today are from the technology space, you have heard today.
With elections, we could have systems that will ensure that there will never be double voting, can ensure voting doesn't even get spoiled and all that. We can get instant feedback, be able to even predict who is winning in the process, because you need data. Once you can get data being sent to the model real time, you can project and predict everything.
Citi News' Christopher Kevin Asima, further report read by Ajwa Tinkrama Domina. That's it for Citi Prime News. We came to you live from our studio at number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. For more news, log on to citinewsroom.com. My name is Zoe Abubedu Ado, and I'll see you with
Charles Owusukumi.
Natali Nete is up next with the afternoon's edition of Citi Business News.
Citi 97.